Hi, good day everyone. Before I talk about authorship, I want you to picture something. A man stands in the shadows of Kuala Lumpur's back alleys, a migrant, a criminal, a survivor, maybe all three. The camera doesn't explain him, the director doesn't explain him, but somehow the story already feels honest, and that honesty didn't just come from the script or the camera. It came from the people behind the scenes, people negotiating, protecting, and quietly fighting to keep the story alive. Today I want to talk about one of those people, Bront, and I want to talk about a kind of authorship that doesn't sit in the director's chair but happens in the spaces between roles, institutions, and cultural limits. So let's dive into the introduction and rationale of the study. We've all been trained to think about authorship in one way: find the director, read the signature, and trace the vision. Classic author theory works beautifully until you apply it to the Southeast Asian cinema. Because here, films are rarely made in ideal conditions. They are shaped by censorship boards, funding structures, co-productions, and political sensitiveness. Creative decisions doesn't just happen on set. They happens in meetings, in approvals, in compromises. So the question that kept bothering me was this: if authorship isn't just about directing, where does it actually live? When I started looking closely at Palare's work, moving between actor, producer, and collaborator, it became clear that authorship was happening between roles, not loudly, not visibly, but decisively. So let me introduce you to the concept and framework of this study. I call this interstitial authorship. It describes creative agency that operates in the gaps between institutions, between production roles, between what's allowed and what's risky. Hamid Nafisi talks about interstitial production, filmmaking that exists between dominant systems. What I'm suggesting is simple. In contexts like Southeast Asia, authorship itself becomes interstitial. It's not about control, it's not about navigation. Palarae doesn't just perform characters, he helps decide which stories get told, how far they can go, and how they survive regulation. That's authorship too. Not expressive authorship, but structural authorship. So here are the key study and methodology and some selected films and analytical approach. So to explore this, I focus on three films: One to Jaga, Fly By Night, and Stone Turtle. Different directors, different production contexts, but one recurring presence. Bront Palarae as the actor and producer. These films give me a way to trace influence without relying on directorial credit. I approach these films the way filmmakers do, scene by scene, shot by shot. I paid attention to lighting, silence, pacing, and urban space. Then I cross-checked what I saw on screen with interviews and production accounts. What emerged wasn't random, it was patterned. So here are some key findings that I found out. The first major finding is about structural agency. In Want to Jaga, Palari's most important performance doesn't happen on screen. It happens in negotiation. Production testimonies show that he actively pushed the preserve politically sensitive material, especially around police corruption and migrant precarity. This wasn't symbolic authorship. It was logistical. Casting decisions, approval strategies, distribution pathways. In environments shaped by censorship, these decisions are expressive acts. This is what interstitial authorship looks like, using institutional access to protect uncomfortable truth. The second finding surprised me. Despite different directors, all three films share this distinct mood: low-key lighting, heavy shadows, low pacing, long silences. So these films breathe the same air. Silence isn't empty, it's tense. Shadows aren't decorative, they hide moral uncertainty. These aren't just stylistic choices, they are ethical ones. Consistency suggests that Palarae's influence travels around through collaboration, shaping tone, restraint, and visual economy, almost like a portable authorial signature. So the third finding is ideological. These films don't care much for clean national identities. Their characters move, drift, get stuck in between borders. This connects with the idea of Nusantara, not as nostalgia, but as an archipelagic reality shaped by movement and hybridity. The films resist at no nationalist thinking. Instead, they imagine Southeast Asia as interconnected, unstable, and shared. That's a political position, quietly radical. So here are some triangulated evidence and interpretive model. So when you triangulate everything, the films, the testimonies, the theory, a different figure of authorship emerges. Not the loud visionary, not the singular genius, but the structural mediator. Broad Palarae's authorship operates through performance, production, negotiation, and regional literacy. It's relational, distributed, and deeply political. So as you can see on the table. So interstitial authorship isn't just about spotlight or credit. It's about invisible labor, the meetings, the compromises, the risks, the work that keeps stories honest in difficult conditions. And maybe that's the kind of authorship Southeast Asian cinema needs us to pay attention to. So with that, I'd like to end with a line inspired by Bront Palarae's creative spirit. Stories don't belong to the people who make the most noise. They belong to the people who keep fighting to tell the truth. With that, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a very good day.